First question, please, to Tom Decent.
Hey, Mitch, how do you begin to sum up what happened there in the last hour?
Yeah, pretty good finish to the day. I mean, we've said right from the outset of the tour that things were going to happen quickly towards back ends of games or days, and certainly be, I guess, a war of attrition, if you like, or a slow process to start things off. So certainly to I guess, keep in control of the scoreboard throughout the innings, and then once we had a sniff to really stay on and finish the day like we did today, I think that's I guess the blueprint, but really proud of the group to do the way we did today.
And what do you put it down to, Mitch? Down to the pitch, the ball, just momentum in general?
Yeah, hell of a good partnership, I thought. I think the partnerships with the bowlers throughout, throughout large periods throughout the tour have been really, really good. But certainly today, I think all partnerships throughout the day have been really good. So, particularly obviously the way Pat bowled was phenomenal. But for me, the other end, I think we just, like I said, we had a bit of a sniff there, a bit of an opening, and wanted to capitalise on that heading into the back end of the day. So, yeah, certainly there's been a fair amount of reverse for both teams. Obviously last test, but certainly this test as well. And as we saw last week, things are going to start to quick up on this wicket. Obviously, end of day 3 today, but certainly day 4 and 5, things are probably going to happen quickly, a bit like last week. So to end the day with the lead, obviously, is fantastic. But I'm certainly proud of the bowling group and the field group to finish the day we did.
Mel Farrell, please.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, Mitch. Just bearing in mind how Karachi panned out when you were in a strong position and then the reverse didn't come in the same way in the final innings. How do you look at the next 2 days? Setting targets, wanting to bowl them out. Are there thoughts of things that you learned from Karachi that you can apply here?
Nothing to worry about. I'm just got to worry about bowling next. But yeah, I think it's a different wicket. Obviously, this one's it's been obviously quite dead from the get-go, and certainly been shooting low, and we've seen that happen more regularly as the game's gone on. Also, even with the new ball tonight, with those 3 overs, there were a couple that shot through. Reverse is going to play a part. Obviously, we've got 2 nice spinners in the attack as well. I think we're quite well rounded, but obviously last week we thought the wicket might break up a lot more than it actually did. Full credit to them that Pakistan played really well. Obviously, Babar and Brisbane were fantastic for them last week. Yeah, for us, we're in another position of opportunity. We said that last week. We'd rather be in those positions where we've got options and we're pressing the issue rather than having to survive or to defend or get back in the game. So that's a huge positive for this group, certainly in foreign conditions, to be pushing the game, to be, I guess, in a position where we've got these opportunities to push for wins and whatnot. So that's a huge positive for us, and that's what we saw from last week. We're in a great position of opportunity. Didn't quite get over the line, but again, different conditions here. I think a slightly lower wicket, as we've seen in the last 3 days so far, and that's probably going to continue for days 4 and 5. So yeah, there's certain things we can take out from last week, but I think the main one being a huge positive that we're in these positions of opportunity and leading from the front.
Nick Savage, please.
Thanks so much, Brian. Mitchell, well bowled today. Australia's had some pretty poor luck with the DRS throughout this series, and it must have been a relief that the Babar Azam wicket sort of fell in Australia's favour. What was your reaction when that Hawkeye showed the ball was just clipping leg stump?
I'm more surprised they got under swing reverse in, but yeah, we burned a couple of today, and also probably I guess one of mine as well that Kez and I thought was a bit closer than it was, but it's just my white angle. But yeah, I think we just got to trust the process. Obviously, we've got pretty lucky today that it hasn't really cost us with too many needs to use it later on after we burn them all. But yeah, I think we've got to trust the process. Obviously, the day with it, but there's been certain times gone by that our process has worked really well for us. So Not a day today with the DRS, but I'm sure there'll be other times to go.
Andrew Ramsey, please.
Oh, thanks, Brian. Hi, Mitch. Just wondering if there's any difference between this sort of tour and the previous subcontinent trips, like games that sort of, even though you're not getting wickets, they're not getting away from you at all. Is there something that's been different in the approach, or is it because these pitches are so low, it's just really hard to score with any fluency for either team?
It's a good question. I can't say that I remember too much of previous tours and discussions. Probably quickly gone out of mind, but I think there's been a clear approach from this group. Obviously, through our time in Melbourne before we came over, and whilst we've been here to stay pretty calm and trust our process. There was one comment made early doors before we played in Rawalpindi that things might not go the way we planned them out to be, but it's not a scrap it and start from blank canvas. You may only have to tinker plans slightly or change things really slightly to be where we want to be at. So I think, like you said there, to be able to control the scoreboard fairly regularly, I think there's been a couple instances where they've probably gotten away and batted really well, and credit to them there. But I think both teams have probably been able to control scoreboards at different times and slow the rate, if you like, and then capitalise on little moments like we did tonight with getting a breakthrough and then putting the foot down. So I think it's a great sign for this group, certainly as you mentioned in previous subcontinent tours. Obviously we've got a couple to go after this tour as well. It's a nice, I guess, a blueprint to start with, whether we tweak that for different conditions in different countries. But we've got 2 days now to, as I said, we've got an opportunity now with how we've gone today and about the first innings to press that through and hopefully translate that into a win this week and I guess a blueprint to take forward with us.
So I've got time for 4 more questions now, please. Bharat Sundaresan, first of all, please.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, Mitch. So just quickly on Babar Azam dismissal, am I correct to say that Pat was going with green for that over and he just gave you that extra over, just maybe to try and get Babar out?
Sorry.
Were you going to get the extra over? You got Babar out?
Oh, sorry. I remember. I think I asked for one more, and then Paddy was going to bowl green, and then Paddy got that wicket, so I did end up getting another one. So I think you're right there. I think I was good to go, but Greeny was going to bowl, and then Paddy changed his mind.
Sorry, if I could just slip another one in. Sorry, it's just about how Pat has used you in the subcontinent. Just what are your inputs? Like, he uses you in brief spells, and when of course the ball is reversing. So, what are your inputs been with that?
I think obviously we haven't seen a whole lot of swing in both teams. Obviously, Sheen's got a very nice seam presentation, and he hasn't swung it much either. So there hasn't been a lot of swing with the new ball. I think a feature for both teams obviously been reverse swing. To take out Rawalpindi, that was just, the wicket was flat and probably a bit like a road. But these last two test matches, there's obviously a feature's been a reverse swing for both attacks. So for Pat and I, and obviously Greeny as well, to try and use us in shorter spells whilst it's reversing. So on these abrasive squares, obviously we've got 2 spinners who are fantastic as well. But it's having a really calm approach. I think that's something that this group's been fantastic at. Paddy's obviously been fantastic in his captaincy with it. There's been times where they've built partnerships and played really nicely, and it's about staying calm and not letting that scoreboard get out of control, and then take our chances and moments when they come. So, that last spell for me, I think, was 6 overs. So there's going to be times where it's slightly different, but I think for the most part, the quicks have been used in short, sharp spells. If it's reversing, you might push 1 or 2 more. It's about trying to see when it's going to reverse, if that ball's in good enough condition, and when it is, taking those chances. The last 2 weeks have been quite warm, so both teams have spent long periods of time in the field with bowling innings and long times with the bat. So, now it comes down to 2 days, and see who's got more in the tank, I guess.
2 questions now, please. Rana Sajid and then Idris Malik. Rana Sajid, please.
It's okay. Hi, Mitchell. This is Rana Sajid from 7 News, Lahore. First of all, what a really a bowling spell from yours, both Pat Cummins and from you. How much this track is useful for the fast bowlers as well, and what is your strategy now for the Pakistan second innings team?
How much does this pitch help the fast
Can you
bowlers?
repeat again?
I don't think the wicket helps the fast bowlers at all. I think the wickets, it started out quite slow and dead, and we've seen it obviously shoot through lower and lower as the days have gone on. So obviously the key is reverse swing, and both teams have used that really well. I thought obviously the two quicks for Pakistan bowled fantastic in the first innings and picked up 8 wickets between them with that reverse swing. For us, Paddy and I obviously used that reverse swing today. So I think that's the one area that's going to be a big weapon for the fast bowlers. There's certainly nothing in the wicket for the bowlers, which has been a feature for the series with these wickets. But yeah, as I said, it's about taking those chances when they come. If you have a sniff, really putting the foot down, staying patient. It's a hard slog. We've said that from the outset. And things are going to happen quicker as the game goes on. Obviously, hopefully the wicket's going to wear a lot for us, and we're bringing in 2 spinners to take control of that as well. And yeah, if we get that ball going in reverse, to make sure we're on the money from ball 1, and then hopefully that results in a win on Friday.
Last question now, please. Adris Malik.
Thank you, Brian. Mitchell, Pat got 5, you got 4. And for me and the fans, the day was yours because the delivery to the Rizwan. Do you want to add some words for the fans and especially the curator with the shukriya?
No, look, it was a fantastic end to the day for us, I think. Obviously, I've played a lot of cricket with Pat, and we've worked well in partnerships gone by, and today was another instance of that. Yeah, I think that's a feature of our attack. We're not too fussed who gets the wickets as long as we bowl teams out. So, yeah, I'm extremely pleased with Pat to pick up 5. That's why he's number 1 in the world. He's fantastic, and he started it for us to obviously get the wicket of him in the first instance. Obviously picked up as with the Cork bowl, and then for us, as I mentioned before, once we get a sniff, we want to try and ram that home. So to work in a fantastic partnership with him there for those few overs, I think is what we're about. So yeah, I'm just pleased to have played my part there, and I mean, yeah, look, it's a feature of our group that we, at any different stage, someone can step up, but it's about those partnerships, and we've done that for a number of years now as well.
Thank you very much.